Well, look, we're going to talk today about the failure of drug decriminalisation in Oregon. Okay, and there's quite a lot of stats here to get through. Okay, so in November, Oregon passed Measure 110, decriminalising possession of small amounts of hard drugs. And the theory here, presumably, would that it would make the world a better place. And actually, it's not, has it? Could you run us through some of the reasons why it's failed?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of something called harm reduction. It is a strategy that essentially says we are going to mitigate the risks of illicit substance abuse by making it safer for individuals to continue to use while we urge them and push them into treatment. The problem is there's no pushing into treatment. There's very little funding for treatment. And so instead, all they're doing is handing out clean needles. They're handing out fentanyl pipes for people to continue to engage in this addiction that is ultimately going to kill them. And what we've seen in Oregon, and frankly also here in Washington State, where we've done something somewhat similar, we've seen a rise in overdose deaths. Every single year since they've done this, we've seen a new record get set for fentanyl overdose deaths. On top of that, it's made some problems that we've already had way worse. So the homelessness crisis that is being fueled by drugs, well, obviously that's not getting any better, it's getting worse. Then the crimes that are associated with the drug addiction from the homeless, they're obviously not working. And so what they end up doing is breaking into cars, stealing things, shoplifting, selling those, and then using the money for $1, $2 a pop fentanyl pill. So it's just this endless cycle that's causing a whole lot of problems.
Yeah, we've got Oregon's overdose death rate has increased by 28% between 2020 and 2021. We've got the Portland area seeing 138% increase in overdose deaths between 2019 and 2022. I mean, that is staggering. Fentanyl, you mentioned there, which is a highly potent synthetic opioid, for those who don't know, is now the leading cause of overdose deaths in Oregon. This has been a catastrophic failure. And do the liberal side of politics in America have blood on their hands here?
100%. I think Democrats should have known that this was going to happen. And certainly, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt that they did this for good reasons. Fine. The data was never supportive of what it is that they were pushing. And even when the data was very, very crystal clear, they ignored it. They said it was wrong. They said we just need a little bit more time, because they are driven by their ideology. They are blinded by their ideology. And so at some point, if their intentions were pure, I would argue that you have to start looking at the data and then saying, okay, maybe we should course correct. And they're choosing not to. And it's at that point that I think that they bear the responsibility here. And to be clear, it's not just lawmakers, right? It's voters as well in Oregon. They're the ones who initially said yes to this. Though in fairness, they are saying in overwhelming numbers now, they want to repeal this or at least dramatically change it.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to put the genie back in the bottle, though. Once you decriminalise something, to reverse ferret on that is very, very tricky. Portland's homicide rate reached a record high in 2022, 101 murders, the previous record of 92 just the year before. Property crime rates, you were alluding to all of this stuff. Yeah, it's also ordinary people, law-abiding, sober, teetotal, non-drug using members of society who are paying the price for this now, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. The people who are the victims here are the folks who aren't drug addicts, who aren't homeless, who are going about their day, trying to live their life, trying to have a safe community for their family, and they're being rewarded with this dismay. And unfortunately, it went on, to your point, it went on for so long that you started to see a cultural shift. Right? Just in the United States in general, we have a cultural shift when it comes to crime, when it comes to drug use. We have embraced this culture of lawlessness, and the criminals are taking advantage, and the addicts, unfortunately, are falling deeper and deeper into addiction.